Keep your hands and head inside the vehicle at all times. Buckle your seatbelts, check your mirrors, sit on back and relax. It's lights out and away we go for the Tall and Short of It podcast. So, welcome to another Tall and Short of It race companion. We are here for the 2022 Austrian Grand Prix. Max likes to refer to it as the Dutch Grand Prix, as there's so much orange in the stands. Good morning, Aaron. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Justin?
Doing well. Looking forward to hopefully a clean race start here. We got, I believe that's Fernando Alonso doing burnouts, pulling up to the grid here.
Yeah.
I believe we're about to have lights out here very shortly.
Yeah, and so Valtteri from the pit lane. Interesting.
Now, do we have a note as to why in this setup for...
Probably a gearbox thing because he had issues yesterday, but we have lights out. Max got away very well. And so did Russell. Russell fighting Carlos Sainz and gets the inside. Sainz wide.
Comes out on...
Wow, that smoke is crazy.
Yeah, I remember them saying they do not want that around. I'm curious if people are sneaking them in to be able to do that.
Yeah. And then Checo fighting with Russell now.
Got a clean start for the most part.
Yeah.
We got Max leading, Charles second, Sainz in third, and then we got a little battle for fourth between Sergio.
Oh, Russell takes out Checo. Oh man. Come on.
Looks like he's still moving. He may be able to get it back into the pits.
Yeah, that's brutal, though. Back-to-back races where he's getting knocked out right off and having to pit super early.
Sure. It just makes him, just puts him into overtake mode.
Yeah.
Get to see everybody on the grid.
Vettel also is reporting damage, so not sure what happened there. Max is out away, probably about 8/10 ahead. So.
Well, and what's interesting is...
Oh, he just broke the 1 second over Leclerc.
Nice.
Checo.
What's interesting here is such a short lap. If anything happens like that, if we have any more offs or anything, it's going to be, pretty short around. So these, any safety...
Oh, your mic cut out. I'm also just going to turn up your mic a little bit on my end. Man.
Oh.
Checo. There we go. So Checo onto the hard tires. Brutal start. 3.7 second stop, but big puncture. So he's going to have to... And a huge puncture in the side of the side pod, apparently. So,
interesting. Now, with that side pod, do they keep racing?
Oh yeah, as long as there's not debris coming off, it should be fine. But currently, that will just cause a lot of worse aero in terms of probably top speed and straight line speed. I don't think he'll have downforce issues because that's from the floor. But if the side is damaged, that's... Yeah, Russell and Perez noted causing a collision.
Now we got Cameron Hamilton back in seventh in between the two Haas cars.
Yep.
Looks like the grid's spreading out pretty well here.
Yeah, which is going to make it really interesting for the pit stops, especially because there won't be very many big gaps that cars can slot into once that pit window opens. Really tough to just be able to get through and get clean air when you're coming out of the pits.
Yeah, hopefully these teams can find the good gaps where they're not losing too much time going into the pits, getting stuck behind a group of cars coming out. But we have Charles Leclerc just setting the fastest lap right behind Max Verstappen. So,
and pulling it within that 1 second. So DRS back open. But looking back at the race start here, yeah, Max had a really nice getaway.
Now, how does Russell and Sergio come together?
Well, so Sainz pushes past and then like goes off track. He has just better top speed than the Mercedes, and Checo comes into the mix here too. My stream just
Okay.
froze.
Gotcha. Oh, so they even get through the uphill turn pretty well down. I guess that's the second DRS zone. And
Yeah,
then into. Gotcha.
yeah. So I'm restarting here my stream, so you have to tell me what you're seeing.
So I'm looking at George Russell's on board as he makes contact with Sergio, spins him around.
You spin my head right.
There you go. And now we're seeing it from Sergio's perspective. Yeah, my man's not happy. You see it clear. No, with George, I gave him enough room.
Yeah, so are you seeing Checo driving down the little okay, now it's switched to Mick or
You got it.
okay, cool. So I'm right on. But yeah, that's definitely not what you want to see. You see Mick getting to battle with Lewis again though, just like in the sprint race yesterday.
Yeah, which, by the way, that was a great session from the two Haas drivers. I was very impressed with their driving.
Yeah, and so Mick just got past Lewis in the DRS there, so he has moved up and he's in that DRS of Magnussen and Ocon now. So
Maybe he'll be able to pull himself forward a little bit. We have a nice little pack there. I'm curious. That'll likely turn into a pretty solid DRS train here very soon.
yeah, well, I am really interested to see what happens with Checo. Like I'm curious to see if he's able to start climbing up the grid. I can't quite tell with that 47-second, like how far he actually, if that's how far he is behind Max or if he's behind Bottas that far.
I'm not 100% sure. I have a feeling that may be the gap to Max. But I think Sergio has a bigger chance than most of the drivers here to be able to get some good overtaking done. I imagine we may see a large jump in positions once the pit window opens. We see, some cars go in, get some free open track, gets past some people. Obviously, they put them on the hards or the hard compound tires, so he'll be able to stay out for a really long time.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's interesting because we have two big DRS trains right now. We've got from Russell back to Hamilton. So that's 5 cars that are all at the back 4 having DRS. Then we have from Lando all the way back to from P9 to P19, where every car behind Lando has DRS on the next car. That is pretty insane. I don't think we rarely see it be that bunched up and tight.
Yeah, most of the time we just see, a couple of cars get away and the DRS trains, just be 3 or 4 deep. I'm curious, do you think that says more about the track? Do you think that says more about the vehicles currently? Do you think they are that close in like performance, or do you think it is just a symptom of the short?
I think it's part of the short lap and the speed of it. But I don't think that in general, like, I don't think we'll start to typically see this. But I do think that there's a lot of cars that are pretty close in terms of their competitiveness and everything. So I'm not too shocked. Am really impressed though with the Haas cars this weekend. They've looked really awesome around the track, like you were saying yesterday in the sprint. Both Mick and Kevin Magnussen both looked really strong. So definitely impressed with them so far this weekend.
Well, and I actually kind of want to. I kind of want to stick on Magnussen and Schumacher. Me and Aaron were talking before we hit record about the Ferrari drivers and how it seems like they may need to pick a strategy here instead of, falling over themselves. And then if you look at what the Haas cars were doing yesterday in the sprint, having Magnussen ease up just a little bit so Mick could stay in DRS, keep Hamilton off of his gearbox. I think that's really heads-up driving, a big team play from Haas overall, and it seems like that may be an indication, and some other things going on, especially the teamwork exhibited by the Red Bull drivers. It feels like modern Formula 1 is moving towards a meta of it's like stop driving for yourself. We're trying to elevate the whole organization.
Yeah, well, I think that, but I also think that just where the championship is at right now in terms of points and everything, it's kind of what Ferrari needs to do if they want to compete this year. I don't think in the future it's necessarily going to always be like that. If it is a really competitive front field with Red Bull, Mercedes, Ferrari all kind of fighting it out, I think that will open things up a bit more if they are very consistently competitive. But at the same time, Ferrari is down a lot of points in the championship right now. They're not gonna catch up by letting Red Bull keep winning races because they're too busy holding each other up for P2 fights. So
yeah, it's maybe a little bit of a just a specific scenario, but I think it does just beg the question of like moving forward, do these drivers have to look at themselves more as a part of a team rather than like the thing in the car that's supposed to be doing the winning?
I think that you have to have a good balance of that because they obviously have a competitive nature, and you're winning races is going to help your team, but it's when you're not in that winning position that you have to recognize, okay, like this is where we need to really like optimize things.
Yeah.
So Max and Leclerc sending it down the inside, really nice defense by Max, but Leclerc with the DRS, Max held a really good line there, covering off the inside, and Leclerc locked up just a little bit. So Max is still holding, and Russell just gets a 5-second penalty for his collision with Checo.
So that 5 seconds is going to drop him back pretty significantly. But yeah, this battle at the front is pretty intense with 3 DRS zones. That's a lot of opportunities for Leclerc to, get past Max.
Yeah, and so here we go with another DRS zone for Leclerc, but Max really was able to push that gap out about 0.6 before the pit straight. So that's a good spot to kind of be in to be able to defend. But 3 DRS zones on this track make this really tough.
Yeah, and it seems like based on what Charles has going on here, I imagine that's going to be pressure this whole race as long as he can, keep his tires together. But if he is, on top of Max's gearbox this whole time, he's definitely going to bleed those tires.
Yeah, well, and Max, I think, is slowly stretching this back out. He has defended really well, but now Charles has locked up twice in the last 2 laps going around, and so he's going to be feeling some vibrations, probably have a little more tire deg because of the lockups there and potential flat spots, but he's still hanging in pretty close.
Now, do you see any flat spots on the Ferrari at all? I'm trying to look.
I don't specifically, but they weren't huge lockups, but there could be a little bit of rubber taken off sections that's not as noticeable. Usually they have to be pretty significant lockups, but George coming into the pits, and with that 5-second wait, he is dropping down. He's going to be probably back down to about 18th, 19th.
Damn, Charles gets it done.
And changing the front wing. Wow. Nice move. Nice move from Charles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is likely just going to keep going the whole time.
Yeah.
With each of them getting DRS behind the other.
Yeah, but now Max will get to be the chaser, kind of go after it, use the DRS, see if he can bring this back around, because they both seem to have pretty similar speeds right now.
Oh wow, yeah, great move.
Really impressive.
Now we're taking a gander at the stop and go penalty from George. You can see the brakes just heating up, the smoke getting more and more intense as they're just sitting and waiting.
Yeah, and to change the front wing, that's a long stop. I think it was about 19 and a half seconds stationary.
Now he's back there with Perez and Valtteri.
Yep. So now Max locking up behind Leclerc, but Leclerc getting track limit warnings, his second one. I think he might have gone off there as well. These track limits, they've been very, very precise with them. So, but Max just outside of the DRS. Oh, Max coming in.
So I guess they're just looking to undercut here.
Yeah. So going probably onto the hard tires, and most likely looking for, that was a good stop. I disagree. 3.2 is not a bad stop. That's not rough.
Well, it's not great either.
Yeah, not the best, but I mean anything between, I think, like 2.5 to 3.5 is pretty standard.
Sure. Yeah.
At this point. So, I mean, I know those tenths definitely can make a difference, but Max out on the hard tire behind Lando. I think I guess we'll just see how this lasts, because that would be a long stint on the hards to go all the way to the end.
Yeah, that would be like almost 50 laps. I can't imagine they have that much life in them, but hopefully they're looking to
so it'd
get
be
him through most of the race.
Yeah, 56 laps or so. But maybe this is a two-stopper. Maybe they'll be able to push up, and their goal is to they might be on a different strategy. Ferrari might be going for a one-stop strategy, and Red Bull might be doing a two-stopper.
Mm-hmm.
Signs.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, go. You got it.
We're seeing a lot of track limit warnings. It's interesting with how wide of a circuit this is. It's surprising that the drivers just keep finding the curbs, and there's some sections where they're like way going off. So either they're like over driving the track a little bit, or just really pushing it through these turns.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of the multiple DRS zones, and Lewis with a nice move, getting both Haas cars, Mick Schumacher locking up in the back. But Lewis looking good, making his way up to fourth. Max getting his first warning for track limits. But yeah, I think with the DRS zones, you are seeing the cars come in so hot to these corners, and they're trying to ride those curbs and just not being able to do it in a way that they're staying in the area they need to within the white lines.
Mm-hmm.
So Max,
see an attempt at Max on Mick here. Wow, he is right on his gearbox.
Yeah, and the Haas with the DRS zone. He's also on medium tires, but Max here coming up Eau Rouge should get that. Yeah, so made his way up through.
Damn, dude, I'm gonna call you on that. Eau Rouge is at Spa.
Oh man, what is Wait, what's the uphill here? You're right.
I don't know what it's called, to be fair.
Oh, there's a name for it. Why I like.
Give it a goog, JMO.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got Max here on screen. He got past Mick. Magnussen went into the pits. Now we got Max in fifth. chasing down Lewis Hamilton. We got blue flags coming out. I'm curious if there's already back markers in front, or if that was some other flag color that I'm not aware of. It's more of a baby blue. Wonder if that was the.
Yeah, I think I'm just wrong. It's called Remus, but that's not what I was thinking. So yeah, my bad on that.
Oh, that's okay.
Brain fart. But anyway, yeah, Max about a second back, and they were talking about on the broadcast a moment ago that Max is getting held up in traffic and whatnot. But at the same time, I mean, so will Leclerc and Sainz. I don't think they're getting a free pit stop at this point. Max is only 19 seconds back from Leclerc, it looks like, at this point. So I don't think that's enough gap for them to get a free pit stop. And so Checo being lapped.
Okay, yeah, so they were coming up on back markers. Gotcha. Yeah. Perez not making the moves up. Oh, black and white flag for Perez. Track limits. Jeez, oh man, nobody can stay on this circuit.
Yeah, so penalty soon. So Max coming up on Lewis, getting real on his gearbox.
This is a treat, actually, because, I mean, we haven't really seen Max and Lewis kind of duking it out, really, with the performance issues that the Mercedes has been having. This is actually kind of a treat.
Oh, yeah, this is cool, and Max with a really, really nice turn there.
Nice. Got a really good exit. Pulls
very good.
Hamilton, I guess, that was short-lived there, and Max is out. Got a 3-second gap, it looks like, to Carlos Sainz, so hopefully he's going to, head down and get racing.
Well, little more for, 16, yeah.
Gotcha.
So, but now Max has some free air, clean air that he gets to drive in. The undercut looks like it will work at this point. Pit stops are taking about 20 seconds. He's about 20 and a half seconds back. But with the warmed up tires and everything, I think he'll be in a good spot. I just do think that Red Bull's going for a 2-stop strategy here. I think that they have to.
Yeah, and then go for soft compound tires later in the race.
I would honestly be willing to bet that around lap maybe 45 that they look to go on to another set of hards for the last 25 laps or so. I would expect them to try and utilize those hard tires and the amount of laps that they have left at that point to get those in range, because it does increasingly look like Ferrari's going to go for a one-stopper, so that could be pretty important depending how long the Ferraris end up being on those hard tires. They could be pretty dead towards the end of the race.
Yeah, and that'll create some big issues. So, yeah, okay, so if the Ferraris are doing a one-stop, when do they pit? Is it lap, 23, 24?
I would imagine probably about 25.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
The hard tires should... Well, I would expect one to pit around 25, the other to pit around maybe 28. Just to give a little bit of extra... time for the pit crew to prepare and everything, just especially with such quick laps. But but yeah,
interestingly enough, it looks like Max has dropped back a couple seconds. It's up to a 19-second gap.
Yeah, I can't. It's tough because I can't tell. I think that might be his gap to Leclerc because he did do the fastest lap. So I think he's cutting that down. I think his gap to Sainz is not being is not being shown. It's his gap to Leclerc, which he's consistently chipping into.
Okay, gotcha. So we're on board with Mick Schumacher right now. We've got a little battle going on here. Mick's looking to get it done.
On the McLaren of Daniel Ricciardo, I believe.
Yeah,
No,
this is a really
Lando.
nice move.
Yeah.
We've got Vettel, Ocon, another Haas vehicle. Looks like they're in a little bit of a train here. But surprisingly, we've got Tsunoda and Zhou Guanyu up in 6th and 7th, respectively. So it seems like Yuki and Zhou are having a pretty good day here.
Yeah, and they haven't pitted yet, but they're both looking in pretty good position so far. And with those hard tires, they're probably going to be able to hang in for quite a bit.
Yeah, definitely.
And so, what are you seeing? My stream glitched for a minute.
Looks like 4 cars coming around. I think it's turn 5. We got Alonso on screen.
Okay. Let me know. Yeah, I'll have to see when there's something significant that I can use to just line up the video. But
sure. We're on lap 22. They're just coming down. It looks like they're coming down the pit straight here.
Okay. So you'll just have to let me know when it changes at the top to lap 23. Let me know.
Roger that. We're following a good amount of cars. It seems like the pace is like really consistent between a lot of these cars. They're all staying in these nice little bunches. Obviously, that's the DRS carrying them over a little bit as well. But yeah, pretty tight packs here around this short lap.
And Joe coming through. So I'm a little ahead. So I'm gonna. All right. Let me know when it hits 23.
23.
Cool. All right. I was just a second ahead. So, but yeah, Zhou trying to make a move there, but Ocon holding strong, and Zhou still fighting back. He's been racing really well lately. I've been pretty impressed with Zhou's driving.
Well, and also we got to think, like, he just came out of a pretty rough accident. So it's good to see him, just back on the track, back in the car, and, really giving it to him.
Yeah, absolutely. It's that's something that you could definitely lose some confidence with, and he has definitely come back strong and is still racing well. So impressive to see that for sure.
Yeah, and he's racing in this little pack with Alonso, Ocon, Tsunoda. So yeah, he's not shying away from the competition, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Are you seeing? My stream is just having issues today, so I apologize. But
you're good. I'm seeing the AlphaTauri and a Alpine scrapping on the track. We're on lap 24.
Cool.
I've got a stuck puppy over here.
Uh-oh.
I've got all my recording equipment. She wanted to look out the window. Beep, 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 beep.
Is that the dog backup?
That's the doggy backup noise. She did it. She didn't hit anything.
Impressive.
Very impressive. Back to the race.
Magnussen. With the move there, I think I'm ahead now.
Oh no, we're right on time. That was a double overtake that he just done.
Wow, that is a huge bunch of cars there. That's insane.
They're coming back on him too. Yikes. Oh.
DRS getting in the slipstream.
Oh, Norris.
Lando, really good drive, but.
Oh, get by him. Well done.
Wow. Magnussen is defending so well.
Keeping it together. Oh, Lando had to back off. Holy heck.
Yeah.
Really nice driving from Lando right there.
Yeah, it looked really good. But Magnussen, too. I'm very impressed with how he's driven so far. Max has closed that gap up to the front by down to 11 seconds. So they definitely are going for the two-stop. I would expect the Ferraris to start boxing relatively soon. So Hamilton on the radio had a lap deleted, and Lewis's disagrees.
When I don't go off. That's funny. Yeah. I mean, I guess from, like, in the perspective of the car, you really, like, can't see a whole lot.
So difficult, especially, like, and they're policing that pretty hard, so it could have just been by the slimmest hair that he missed the white line.
And to be fair, like, a lap time being deleted, it's not like the end of the world, you know? It just means it can't count for fastest lap.
Yeah, but also I think it starts worrying about black and white flags, penalties, things like that. So because it's just another track limits warning, which Max just got his second as well. So
this is going to come down to just penalties.
Checo coming into the pit lane. Oh, man. So saving the gearbox, he wasn't able to be making it up through the pack. But there's Leclerc coming in lap 26. So it's kind of
good call.
About where I was thinking, but he's going to come out behind Hamilton, and he's going to have to battle Hamilton pretty hard. That was a good stop.
Is not an easy prospect.
Yeah, 2.6.
Probably one of the toughest drivers on the track. Yeah. Him and Alonso, I'd say, are probably the toughest to overtake.
Oh yeah.
I don't
and
know,
so here Lewis coming through. Lewis is going to be right on him with warmed up tires on the mediums, but we'll see if Leclerc has a slow out lap, because I think Lewis could cause some chaos here. Sainz coming in a lap later, so we'll see him drop back probably behind Hamilton as well.
Yeah, and then it looks like Lance Stroll has to pit as well, but up in P5 for the Aston Martin, that's a little bit out of position there. That's pretty cool.
Definitely. He's having a good drive so far, putting himself in a good spot, but I do expect when he pits for him to be kind of back towards where Vettel's at.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. I guess I always get, like, messed up at these.
2.3, really good pit stop.
That was clean. I get messed up when not everybody is pitted and you see them a little further up and you're like, oh, well, no, they're actually way back.
Yeah. Well, it's just like we were saying, those DRS trains, Lance, Lewis, Alonso, the only ones to not have pitted yet. So.
Okay, gotcha. Interesting.
I think the Ferraris are going to try to go to the end. I think that's going to be tough.
Wow. Mick Schumacher gets by Lando. Pretty easy move right there.
Sorry, Lando not happy with Magnussen on his pass earlier. Or Mick. So...
Sure.
But
said that he was moving under braking.
Yeah, but I missed. Say your point again for me.
Oh,
right before that.
I likely don't even remember.
Okay.
We can keep on moving.
So Leclerc putting in a fastest lap. Here we see Hamilton come in. Slow pit stop, probably about 4 seconds. Yeah. Am I ahead of you?
No, you're
right on.
it.
Cool.
No, I was just amazed at your predictions here. They are right on. looks like about 4 seconds. Oh yeah, 4.1. There we go.
I'm trying to get better at those things.
Sure. Well, it will make these race companions all the better the more detail we can give out.
Yeah. Oh, Hamilton with Ocon there. That's going to be a tough fight.
Got Hamilton coming up on the radio.
Yeah. He would have liked to keep going, it sounds like. He wanted to push back his pit a little bit further. Have fresher tires at the end. Because now he's going to not really ever be in a position to... Well, I guess at this point he's too far from the Ferraris to get there. But Leclerc putting in another fastest lap, gaining on Max. Wow. Okay. So Stroll going into the pits.
Now we got Ocon up in 4th. Lewis looks for it on the uphill.
And with this DRS, he's going to really have a good run at him.
Yeah, so many chances to get it done on this track.
Oh, yeah.
Really nice move. Puts it up into 4th. Ocon, P5. Magnussen, P6.
Mick and Magnussen, though, both with really, really good position right now for the team. Yeah, Lewis with that slow stop, but being able to get up through. George Russell as well, so both Mercedes working their way up.
Yeah, no, to your point, those Haas cars, not only has their pace been looking really good, they're running up in the points positions, but also their, defenses and overtakes themselves have been pretty impressive as well. So it seems like the Haas have, maybe leveled up a little bit here.
Yeah. And so the Ferrari really gaining quickly on Max here. But yeah, they've had a really good weekend. Mick has shown a lot of growth. It's like getting those points kind of just gave him that boost of confidence. And now he's looked really good just outside the points in the sprint race yesterday, inside the points currently. But I'm wondering, with Leclerc pushing so hard to catch up to Max, I have a feeling that those tires might be having a tough time towards the end of the race here.
Yeah, that's something to keep our eye on as well. Because I think you may be right. And we'll see if he gets out of sorts, when he gets a little closer to Max. But if he's not able to take care of those tires, yeah, he's gonna be struggling towards those late laps.
So it'll be interesting because I guess Ferrari could still take track position and then go for a 2-stop. But it'll be he's gained so quickly on Max here. He made up a second on the last lap. He's in the DRS. Sainz is not putting in the same kind of laps, but Charles is really chasing after it.
That is a great little camera shot there. Wide angle around turn 7 and 8.
Yeah, and the Dutch fans are definitely on the edge of their seats right now, watching Max get chased down by Leclerc. And with the DRS, Gasly with the track limits penalty.
Oh, wow. Okay, so now they're handing out the time penalties. Damn, so was that his third track limits then, if he's getting a 5-second penalty?
Yeah, it must be.
Jeez, oh man.
And so Leclerc gets through Max on the DRS, but it didn't look like Max was really fighting it super hard.
No, it didn't. That looked like he just kind of conceded.
I really think that, so black and white flag for Lando for track limits. I have a feeling that Max on the 2-stop. So the car is unpredictable. He's like, one lap he has front grip and the next he doesn't. But I think the 2-stop, I think Leclerc's tires will fall off pretty hard at the end. So it's going to be interesting to see which of these strategies kind of pays off.
Yeah, especially it seems like a little bit more of a not as rammy tire strategy from Red Bull. It seems, well, obviously the Ferrari's going to have to do a whole lot to keep those tires in a good window because he has been chasing down Max so much.
Yeah. And Sainz now gaining very rapidly on Max as well. So Max is really, those tires are struggling. I wouldn't be surprised to see Red Bull put him on the mediums towards the end. Those medium tires seem to be holding up a bit better for everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seemed like the first stint on the hards went pretty well, but I'm curious if he had trouble getting him into the right window on the warm up.
Yeah.
There we go, Lando Norris, more track limits.
Yeah. So Lando with track limits, penalty 5 seconds. That's pretty wild how quickly or how many cars are struggling with that right now.
Yeah, and it raises the point. Sarah asked this yesterday, where like, do you think the cars are a little bit too fast for the course? And when you're seeing this many track limits, I don't know.
And it's a discussion that we've had before about the tracks not being able to necessarily all keep up with the pace and improvements of the cars. But I do think that the lap times currently are not faster than what we've previously seen. So I think this was I think it may more reflect an issue with the just figuring out the cars a little bit better and figuring out the balance and turn. I think that's something that'll improve. I mean, it's a new way to provide downforce using the floors, so I think that might kind of affect it as well.
Good call.
So
we've got the battle forecast here for Carlos and Max. Striking distance, 1 lap. Seems like Carlos is gaining pretty quickly there on Max.
Yeah, he's made significant gains on him, and Max is now 4.5 seconds behind Leclerc. This is kind of what Leclerc said yesterday. He said that he expected them to be able to keep pace with the Red Bull and have a good shot today, but yeah, Max is really just like not being able to hold up that pace at all.
Yeah, and with him talking about the struggling with grip and having
Signs with the black and white flag though.
Oh shit! So that's a 5-second penalty, or the next one is.
Yeah, Max pitting again. Let's see. So another set of hards. So that's a early pit stop.
This is an interesting strategy from Red Bull. Like, just drive until they overtake and then just pit.
Yeah. I really don't know.
2.4 for Max. Pretty good.
Yeah. Zhou Guan Yu with the black and white flags as well. So let's see. Maybe Max pushed the hards a little too tough at the beginning and maybe really put himself in a bad position tire-wise. And so now we'll see how this second set of hard tires lasts.
And you have to figure he's trying to go to the end here on him.
Yeah, you would think so. But he only made it 20-some laps on that last set.
Right. interesting here for the Red Bulls. Usually, you don't see them struggling this much with the tires.
Yeah, and so Ferrari 1-2 right now. Leclerc putting in really good laps. But we'll see with him, with Max, if he starts to cut into that at all. But I feel like we could easily see that not happen.
Yeah, for sure. We got Russell chasing down Lando Norris, and then right ahead, a little further out, is Kevin Magnussen. So a couple drivers in sight here for George Russell, currently running P9, right in the points, looking for some points here for the Mercedes.
Max on the radio saying to match Lewis's lap times. Sir. Yeah, telling him to match lap times, and then he's like, "Why?" And they're like, "Okay, you're free to push."
Well, and it seems like we may have been right if they're telling him to match a slower lap time. Yeah, he might not have been managing his tires that well.
Yeah. So still 32 laps left in the race. We're seeing George Russell chasing after Lando, but with the Lando being right inside, or well, I guess just outside DRS of Magnussen now. Might see George gain a little bit more.
Yeah.
But McLaren having two in the top 10, it looks really, really good. Surprised that Alonso's been stuck down in the mid-teens. He hasn't really been able to work his way up like I kind of expected him to be able to. Yeah, and so they're saying that the hard tires have to go 38 to 45 laps.
For it to be a one-stop?
Yeah.
Or for them to get the one-stop done?
Yeah. So, but Max is slowly chipping into that time, but we'll see if the hard tires can last for him. That's going to be the key. He's definitely got to chip into that time and all, but you really just don't want to burn your tires through and end up in the same position.
Yeah, because I'm not sure if there's another. Is that Vettel?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Okay. That was concerning. But I was worried about a safety car, but he made his way back in. So.
Yeah, he had some cars driving really close when he was getting back on track. Holy heck.
Yeah, that was scary. So glad that everything was good. Let's see the replay here. So him and Gasly touches. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
So
seems like a lot of racers do that, like stay in the corner when the car on the outside has like the nose ahead of them.
Yeah, and so I think that's one of those things that you have to kind of get better. I feel like the FIA needs to kind of do a little bit better with their clarifications on those things, because you're running into this issue pretty consistently. And so there should be a specific, okay, if the nose is ahead, you have to give them, it seems very subjective. And so seeing George Russell come in
into the pits
for his second stop onto a new set of hards.
2.7, that's pretty good.
So Russell dropping down, Lando on Kevin Magnussen, so making his way up, but Lando got the DRS.
Magnussen's looking for it again. This is a nice little battle here.
But Magnussen right there hanging on.
Mm-hmm. 8.6 pit stop. Gasly serving his 5-second.
Yep. Yeah, and so Magnussen not able to, and 5-second penalty for Gasly causing a collision, so another 5 seconds on top of his track limits.
Not a good race here for Pierre Gasly.
Definitely not, but I think that's kind of just been what we've seen a little bit from Pierre this year. He's really struggled to get the car or to feel out the car, I think. And he's had some issues with that because his consistency that we've seen is just kind of dropped off from the past couple of years. So seeing that, definitely not what you expect from Gasly, but yeah, just causing himself some grief.
Yeah, like a track limits or collisions like that seem pretty uncharacteristic, and then for it to happen multiple times, even more so. Was that a black and white for Lewis Hamilton?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that
And
man
then
was not happy.
Yeah, and then Sainz there just got stuck in the middle of this little pack as he's trying to lap, but that is
Not good.
brutal for Sainz. Max is going to be gaining so quickly on that.
Well, and Max may get caught up in that too
Yeah,
if they don't disperse a little bit.
that's true. But they'll get blue flags, but it's just the point where they got the blue flags for Sainz. There was not really good position.
Right.
Oh,
So we're getting a replay of Gasly and Sebastian Vettel.
yeah. I mean, Vettel was far ahead. Gasly's front tire hit Vettel's back tire. Like that Gasly has to he has to give up that corner. And so we're seeing signs come in, blue flags for I think that's Lance Stroll.
Now, at what point, or do they just keep handing out penalties, or do eventually they say like you're out?
Yeah, like I don't think the black flag hasn't come out in a long time, but like technically, if people just are consistently just like breaking rules just again and again and again, like someone could get black flagged.
The black flag. Oh my gosh, that's scary.
Yeah, so
Pirate action.
Lando serving his 5 seconds, putting on new tires. Not sure what those are. They might be mediums. But Lando dropping down.
Find out here soon.
But Max has cut down that gap to 14 and a half seconds from the 18 and a half that it was at. So still a long ways to go. He's chipping into that slowly. Wow.
Yeah, hopefully he'll be able to make up a bunch of that time, see if he can get a little closer to the Ferraris. But I'm worried they just seems like the Ferraris just have a good amount of pace here today.
Yeah, they really do. And George Russell having some trouble with Lance Stroll. Lance defending really, really well.
Yeah, not one to give that place up. Came close.
Oof.
Now he gets it done.
Yeah, nice move. Taking that inside line, and Stroll recognized it and backed out of it. So Schumacher back into 10th, I think, expecting a number of drivers to pit still. Ricardo pitting for his second time. So we'll have to see.
There we go.
They're saying the degradation is much higher. So I think the important thing for Ferrari is, do you think that you can stop this and defend, or do you think that you need to do a second pit stop so that you have the fresher tires and chase Max down again? And I think that is a decision they would have to make in the next probably 5 laps, with only 25 laps left in the race.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you got to figure if Max did slow his roll a little bit, start saving the tires and kind of banking them for like a big push later, yeah, I think he's going to have a lot of tire advantage. Are other people getting it?
Yeah, Lewis is like, am I the only one getting these black and white flags? And they're like, nah, man, literally everyone.
He cracks me up, man. He's like, I don't go off. It's like, oh, okay. He's so adamant about it. There you go. Scoop.
Yeah, that's tough to see on the outside of that front tire. But man, Sainz just or is that Leclerc now? Yeah. Yeah, so Max is in good shape with the battle behind currently. Don't expect Lewis to gain those positions back, but yeah, Max is chasing him down on the fresher tires, so he's slowly chipping in, but it's gonna have to be more significant per lap with this few laps left. He's gonna have to be taking about half a second a lap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then also, the Ferraris not increasing their pace at all either.
Yeah.
Not that it seems like they're going to be because they're probably at a point, where their tires are on the back half of their life.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. It's going to be tougher though, but that's half a second just to catch up by the end of the race, basically. So if that doesn't include, oh wow, and Magnussen and Schumacher go through on Stroll. But that doesn't even include Max having to overtake both of those cars, right, and potential defense. So
yeah, does not include the overtake. The one thing I wanted to talk about is the McLaren boys, Lando Norris and Daniel Ricciardo. It seems like Daniel has had, I would say, a markedly better race than he previously has. Lando obviously was doing pretty good up until the 5-second penalty. So I think overall, maybe an improvement for McLaren. I know, the positions that they're in are kind of where we expect them. But I guess just from a consistency point of view, I'm happy to see that they're keeping it up.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I think both were running in the points earlier. I wouldn't be surprised to see Stroll end up falling out of the points and Lando sliding up into that position. Alonso still could potentially have to pit and second time. So that is really the key with that. I think it's going to be difficult to see both guys up in the points unless we have multiple pits. But I think they're, like you said, having much more consistent weekend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, big time. What do we got going on at the top of the table? The Alpines racing 5 and 6. Another impressive weekend for both of those drivers.
Yeah, and so the only thing with that is Alonso may have to pit again, but he could probably go to the end of the race. Leclerc boxing, so this is going to be interesting.
And Max is 12 seconds behind.
So Max will
definitely coming out behind Max.
Yeah, let's see how.
Behind Hamilton, it looks like.
Decent pit stop. Yeah, it was good. Max coming down the pit straight as Leclerc is just getting to that pit line. So now Leclerc will have 21 laps to try and chase him down.
On much fresher tires, which, he's had the pace this whole time. Max, has 3-second advantage in the context of this race. I really don't think that's that much. In this scenario, I think Leclerc may have a pretty easy chase down.
Yeah, I think he has the upper hand right now for sure. It's and he's coming out and just already able to not lose time to Max, whose tires are warmed up. So probably going to be seeing this fight in, I don't know, the next 10 laps or so.
Yeah, when we're getting even closer to the end, we're on lap 50, about 21 to go. We see Carlos Sainz pulling into the pits now. Going to get him on a fresh set of tires for the final stint here.
Ferrari's had really good pit stops today. I think that 2.6 was their slowest one of the day so far, if I'm remembering correctly. They've been doing well. Sainz might have a tough time getting up to Max. He's gonna be out probably about 10 seconds back from Max. So it's about 8 seconds, so not too bad, or 7 seconds. So I think both of them have a good shot with this last 20 laps. We'll see. I am surprised that Ferrari ended up going with the two-stopper, but after their initial stint. And George says he's feeling slow. Not sure if he has damage. Latifi out as well.
Guess they're just retiring the car.
Yeah.
Now, why would they do that for Latifi? I didn't see any struggles.
No, and Hamilton boxing, but I wouldn't be surprised if they just saw that the car was not competitive, which it looked like it really wasn't, saving the gearbox and just saving the car. Because with Albon, he's up pretty close to those points places, a little ways back, but yeah, Latifi was really not making waves, and even with Vettel spinning out and his issues and all, then he still was back in P19 behind Vettel.
Damn, and then Gasly failing to serve the time penalty. Rough day for the Frenchman.
For Colleen always talks about whenever we're watching how the commentators always say, "And Pierre Gasly." She just lately randomly has just been saying that.
Hell yeah.
And so there, Leclerc on Max. I just wonder, does Red Bull go for one more pit stop now that Hamilton pitted, and he has that in hand?
They might. They really might.
Go on to some mediums or softs here with about 15 laps to go.
Well, because we know the undercut is strong. It's worked each time. Does he have enough time, though?
Max fighting back, but
damn. We got Max coming on the radio here.
He said that the traction is a joke. Yeah, I'm really surprised. I don't know what the Ferraris did that kind of got them to have this much pace. Yeah, that was a nice little inside-out move from Leclerc there.
Yeah, and I'm curious if the hard tires is the right call here. Like you said, I wonder if the mediums would have been better.
Yeah, I just don't know what it is. And Mick Schumacher with the black and white flags. I think that has our black and white flag count up to 6.
Jeez, oh man.
But
Oh, that could be a pod title, Black and White Flags. Jeez, oh man.
That would be a good one. Yeah. And so they're saying, yeah, Max might go for another pit stop. I do think that he should go for a set of mediums here with about probably if Sainz gets up on him again, I think they'll go for that pit stop. Or when Sainz gets up on him again.
Yeah. And maybe this was the plan, like, all along after a little bit into the race. Maybe maybe they realized they would only have the pace advantage on the undercut. On the undercut. So they would just, like you're saying, just answer every gap close with a pit stop.
Yeah, because they're gonna need to do something if he's gonna make a run at second, because Sainz is coming in pretty quickly, and he's just dropping that time from Leclerc as well. Hamilton on the radio. So Lewis onto the medium tire. Ooh, and Sainz closing in on DRS.
Interesting. So we were thinking the medium tire might have been a good play. They put Hamilton on the mediums, and he is not enjoying the pace.
I think it was more he was wondering why the medium is it. He doesn't know if that's going to be the better option necessarily. I think so. I don't know. I think it is for Verstappen's position, but Hamilton was not. He was not really gaining on anyone, so I think he's kind of in no man's land. He's 35 seconds back from Sainz or from Leclerc. He's 14 seconds ahead of Ocon. He just seems to be kind of set in that fourth position.
So then why would he be upset about the mediums? Because they wouldn't be able to progress his plan, or if anything, it's a tougher option.
He's possibly worried about falling off at the end of the race, but because they put those on a little bit sooner, and so
12 positions from Alonso.
Yeah, so he's the only one on the grid who's only taken one stop, so wouldn't be surprised for him to just hang on.
Yeah, and talk about tire management. That's the other side of this race's coin, right? Where, you have Max he's going to end up having 5 pit stops here to get it done, and Alonso's just I'll do it on one set. That's fine.
Oh, and Sainz's engine is gone.
Yikes.
Smoke coming out of the back. Wow.
Brutal.
So, yep.
Is that his cousin or is that his brother that's his engineer?
I don't. Oh, that engine is on fire. Quickly. Oh my God.
Look at Matteo. He's just
all right, Carlos is out. They've got.
Oh my God, boy. That was intense. All right, so the Ferrari would not stay stationary as the back engine was just on fire. So you have marshals trying to stop the car as Sainz is clamoring to stay in, stay out, or stay in, get out because it was still moving. That was some pretty intense imagery. And here we have Carlos Sainz just looking just destitute, looking over the track. He literally just sat down. He said, fuck this.
Yeah.
Brutal for the Ferrari. Man, and to be fair, we had a great race going. There was, I think there was parity at the top of the field where it really could have been anybody's race.
Oh, that's brutal. Yeah, we really have. We've had a really nice race shaping up, and so both Max and Leclerc coming in for a cheap pit stop. Mediums coming out for Red Bull, mediums for Ferrari. So it's just going to be them duking it out here at the end.
Which, in a shootout condition, I think the Ferrari has it, just hands down.
I mean, based on the pace we've seen, I definitely agree. I think it's the right call to come in and do that. But Hamilton, Hamilton's staying up.
And into P3, he's going to be on the podium again.
Yep.
All everything staying equal.
And Russell moving up into 5th, so hanging on to that. Top 5 finishes so far for races he's finished. So
yeah, 2022 is going to be a good year on Russell's career. Looking back, very, very consistent up until this point.
Yeah,
we got the virtual safety car as they clear the burned out Ferrari off the track. Pardon me for laughing, but
I mean,
he's okay. It's just funny.
It's just crazy that they're still having these issues. That's going to be another power unit for Carlos as well. When you see the smoke coming out of it from like that, from what I understand, that typically means that power unit is done. Mm-hmm. So really, and so the virtual safety car ending here. But yeah, really tough spot for Carlos. DRS on the straight and just boom, just smoke.
Oh, whoa. And you see it, explode. Yikes, man.
Yeah, that is not what you want to see. And Sainz, as it's rolling backward, just car...
Oh, so he was struggling to, hoist himself up.
Well, I think it was a couple things. It was, the fact that the car was... rolling back. I think he was probably debating trying to keep his foot on the brake so that it wouldn't roll back till the marshals got there or get out, but kind of having to hold on to that. And now Leclerc getting past the Alpine. Oh, and a huge gap on Max.
Yeah. Massive.
That's a bigger gap than I expected with them both boxing under the virtual safety car. I guess that delta does affect it pretty significantly.
And then also there wouldn't be any blue flags under a virtual safety car, right? So those back markers are left in between.
Yep, exactly.
10 laps to go.
Leclerc saying the throttle pedal feels a bit strange. Ferrari saying we'll come back to you. Max has now gained by 0.3 on Leclerc, so he's slowly working in or cutting down that gap slowly. But I don't know if I just don't think they have the pace. The Ferraris looked so good.
Yeah, and it looked as though they had pace in hand too. A lot of those overtakes just seemed really smooth and clean.
Oh yeah.
Leclerc wasn't fighting too hard. So yeah, we'll see what Max is able to get done here.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be interesting. I think and then Leclerc puts in a fastest lap. So, and Max does right after. So, gonna be a very, very interesting finish here. That virtual safety car and Sainz getting taken out of the mix. Let's see. So everything good on the throttle pedal, and Leclerc says it's okay. So
So everything checks out here for the Ferraris. Hopefully there's no issues for Charles here coming into the final leg of the race here. We only have a couple laps to go.
Yeah,
George
and
Russell getting it done on the Alpine.
yep.
Little wide around, takes the inside line. Very well done.
Yeah, nice little move there. Mercedes up into 3 and 4. That's huge. Both McLarens into the points. Mick Schumacher and Magnussen up in 6 and 7. This is some good weekends for some teams that have really needed it, and not so much for the top teams, Ferrari and Red Bull, both losing one of their drivers.
Yeah,
and,
really rough.
Yeah, and them mentioning Max has some good pace, but Lando here on Magnussen's tail.
There we go. DRS open, goes around the outside, really clean. So that propels Norris up into P7. Ricciardo 2 back for the McLarens, likely finishing 7th and 9th, barring anything else happening. So yeah, just like you were alluding to, we got some pretty good points-grabbing finishes for some teams that really needed it.
Yeah, and Alex Albon just made a move on Valtteri Bottas to put him up into the points as well. So that's a big weekend for the Williams. Any weekend they can pick up points is a good weekend. So that's awesome to see. But yeah, Lando really putting some good laps in. Max kind of keeping pace with the Ferrari, but not really, not quite able to cut into that gap much.
No, and yeah, I'm curious, like you were saying before, where did this pace come from the Ferraris? Obviously, we know they're quick, but yeah, it seems like they just have so much in hand today.
Yeah, it's interesting because I know in previous years Red Bull had some of the favor on some of these tracks where you have this many sharp turns and everything. Because they were great through the corners, and now when they've kind of become more of a straight line speed team, Leclerc asking what's happening with the throttle again. So still staying about the same, but that's not something that you want to hear when you're driving. That's for sure.
Doesn't build confidence. And Verstappen coming on the radio. Keep the pressure on for now.
Yeah.
Dude, that's what's like, just thinking from a strategic point of view, that's what's so scary about the public radio for the teams and the drivers. Like, it's the second you talk to your pit wall about an issue that you're having, everybody else knows about it, and it just feels so much to me just like sharks smelling blood in the water. Like, that's exactly what that was. Like, throttle problems ahead, like, keep the pressure on. That's so, like, it's a fun element of the race where all the teams are let into all of the information possible. I think that's like a fascinating element of it.
Well, I think it's kind of a progression from like from the origins of F1 to an extent too. Like back then, if you were going to try and tell your driver something during the race, you're having to like hold up signs and stuff next to the track or like anything like that. You're not really, or them just having to pit and you have no idea, or like there's so many things that I guess everyone used to be able to see like very clearly what the other teams were doing, and so allowing that to continue when in the days of radio messages is kind of cool.
Yeah, I would agree. But as we get to the well, I've said that a bunch now. I'll stop. The gap from Max to Leclerc has not decreased at all, so Leclerc keeping that gap pretty wide here. barring any other issues, it looks like Leclerc has sealed this up pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, 5 laps to go, 3.5 seconds. That would be a lot. There's Lance Stroll making a move on, I think, Yuki Tsunoda.
His gloves looked so dirty. It's amazing there's that much, like spray and dirty air and stuff coming through that it, like, blacks those gloves out. Oh, here we go. Leclerc not sounding happy.
Yeah, they're not sure, and Max has gotten that down half a second in a lap, so that's interesting.
Concerning.
Yeah.
Damn, so intense at the end. Like you have so little to go, and you're just like, just please let it finish, please.
Yeah.
Please get me across the line.
Oh yeah, that same feeling that Lewis had when he was on 3 tires. Just please let the checkered flag come before Max catches me with my issue. So yeah, 3 seconds, slowly creeping down, 2.8 now.
Oh man.
This is
man.
going to be very interesting. And Max is going to get DRS off of Lando here pretty soon and gain a little extra speed. So not quite in that DRS range of Lando.
Damn. Not a lot of time left, but that gap is closing.
Yeah. Slowly but surely. It's probably too much for 3 laps to go though. Mm-hmm. It's got to be. Leclerc's driving a good race, but he is definitely nervous here at the end.
Oh, there we go. Fernando Alonso makes a good move there on Alex Albon. Alonso going to be investigated after the race for some pit lane shenanigans, it sounds like.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
Unsafe release.
A lot of that isn't the driver. That's like the engineers that you have around that like release you, right? Like you as a driver don't have much to say about. Like,
yeah, like they're supposed to be holding you and like making sure that you're not going to be released into the path of another car.
Interesting. This is the downshifts are like holding up. Doesn't seem like it's enough of a problem to cause much of a pace disadvantage. It dropped them, a couple of tenths, but
yeah, I think the worry though is if he gets stuck in gear and can't work through his shifting, but it looks like that gap's now back up to 3 seconds. Mm-hmm. Probably too far. Yeah. So he's not really able to downshift properly, so he's probably doing a little more wear on that engine too, which is not what they need.
Sure. In a scenario like this though, you probably just got to drag it across the line, right?
Yeah, I mean, so Max just got through Mick Schumacher and chipped a decent chunk of that, half a second pretty quickly, but that's not going to be easy. 2 laps to go. But there he is.
See him. Like, he is right there, 2.5.
Yeah.
That's massive, but holy shit. Let's see what he can do.
Yeah, this is getting exciting.
Leclerc just hoping his gearbox holds out. Max putting that pedal to the floor, chasing him down, both of them down on the pit straight.
Last lap.
I think
2.3 seconds would be a lot to to catch up. So I think Leclerc has got this, but Max is right there, ready to pounce if anything happens. And let's see turn 3 where Leclerc said he's struggling. Yeah, just a little too far.
Yeah, to be fair though, Max closed that gap up like way more than I thought he would. Wasn't too confident about the whatever throttle issues were going on. It didn't seem like it was affecting him that much, but man, he really took a chunk out of him.
Yeah. Wow. Alonso in the points. Leclerc. Coming around the last corner.
Hell yeah.
P2 for Max. Congrats to Charles. Great race and fighting through some mechanical difficulties.
Yeah, that was really, really well-driven race by Charles Leclerc. Max as well, and then we have Lewis Hamilton here coming up for a P3.
Yep, so up there on the podium again. That's awesome for Lewis. That's the form that we knew once Mercedes got their car together that form would return. So really impressive, and now that they've seemed to figured out the porpoising and all and fixed it, that Lewis has now been ahead of George consistently and putting in really solid performances.
Yeah, and just like you said, back to the the ways that we've come to expect from Mercedes. So it's good to see that they've at least improved some of the issues that they've been having, and making runs at the podium.
Yeah, and so
Had an exploded bug on his visor.
Yeah. So nice race from Charles. Big win, much needed. Max did get the fastest lap there though, so Max with the extra point, so losing I think about 6 points total to Leclerc, but still has a bit of a lead in that drivers' championship. But that was a very good Ferrari car today for both of them. Just with Sainz unfortunately having his engine issue. That's rough.
Yeah, unfortunate there for Carlos Sainz. But overall, just glad that he got out of the car safe. Obviously, there'll be other races. I'm just glad that he's safe.
Yep, absolutely. So, but that does kind of wrap us up. So our podium, we have Charles Leclerc P1, Max P2, Lewis P3, Mercedes with a 3-4 finish. That's big for them in the constructors. So nice for them to be able to bring some fight back. But Justin, you want to take us out of here?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you, everybody, for joining us here for the 2022 Austrian Grand Prix race companion here on the tall and short of it. This was quite an exciting race. Happy to have everybody here with us. But yeah, other than that, just thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time.
See ya.